Týrcast 17. My name is Heri Johansen and I am in Fámjin in the Faroe Islands.
Hello, I'm Gunnar. I'm the bassist in Týr, and I'm in. Where am I? Oh yeah, in this place called Fámjin. As well. We're right here. It's amazing.
Hey, I'm Tad. I'm the drummer in Týr, and apparently we're all in the same place.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Fancy that. I should say welcome to Týrcast 17. This is the 11th episode of the second season. We put out these episodes on the 7th and the 22nd at 1700 Central European Time on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Buzzsprout. Let me be very clear about that pronunciation. No naughty emphasis there. You can get early access to this on patreon.com/tierband. Plus some extra material we put out there. Isn't that so, Gunnar?
That's amazing.
Couldn't care less.
You should see the view here.
It's
absolutely amazing.
I think they can see it behind us.
Yeah, but the mountains here. Oh man.
I'll make a zoom around here after. But the reason we're in Fámjin in the Faroes is that we played a show yesterday.
First show in more than a year.
I think it's 462 days. Our last show was February 20th in 2020 in York, UK. And yeah, that was our very last show together. And actually, it was still with Terje.
Yeah.
It was.
But the show yesterday was with a totally different guy.
Yeah.
He's from here, from Fámjin in the Faroes.
Lives over there.
He lives right over there. And we rented a house while we're staying on the island up here at Tiny One. And Hans,
Right over there.
Hans Hammer is his name. We will introduce you to him later. And we've rehearsed in a rehearsal room in Tórshavn for a week. It went very well. He was obviously a bit nervous, but no need really. He was. Who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
Famous as we are and arrogant rock stars.
It's just natural, you know. I mean,
it went great. Great guy.
Definitely.
And we had the first show ever last night, and it went really well.
Yeah, and it was exciting. I thought actually just rehearsing together again, I got my adrenaline going.
Yeah.
It was so exciting.
Yes, definitely.
Because we haven't done anything.
I was very nervous myself, but when on stage and adrenaline going, everything went very smooth.
We played for about an hour, but it went by
like this
in the blink of an eye.
Yes, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I have to say that the first rehearsal I felt kind of strange. You know, I played a lot in the last 15 months at home. I mean, practice-wise.
Yeah.
Because what else was there to do? I worked out, and I played the drums, more or less. So it was a bit weird to get back into the whole band thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't feel for a second that Hans was the reason for that. Not him was the person from the outside. It was for me actually difficult to get back, to dive in.
Yeah, to dive in.
I see. Yeah.
It was a very interesting and unique experience. But the show yesterday, man, that felt good.
So, like we talked about before, it's a Viking festival, and they are trying to create awareness of their project. They're trying to build a Viking boat, the first one in the Faroes since Viking times, of course. And they have a website, thevikingship.com. Sorry, I have to get the bugs off me here. Thevikingship.com.
Do they bug you?
Yeah, the bugs bug me, but not as much as you bug me. Where you can see more about that project. But
it's a very interesting project. They're gonna build a museum for it, where it's actually gonna be built in the boat. So that's quite amazing. It's a big, huge thing. It's like 23 meters long.
23, wow.
Yeah, so it's a big boat. But this boat is actually the reason we are here in the Faroe Islands today. Anyone who lives here at all, because somebody had to come here with a boat.
Exactly, it's fascinating to think about. The project, the house, is drawn by an architect, Isfeld, a very famous architect here in the Faroes.
Yes.
So it's really well thought through and done in accordance with Scandinavian and Faroese building tradition.
Excellent. Gunnar.
So, yeah, go ahead.
You have some experience in boat building and boat renovating, right?
Boat renovating, yes. Boat building and such, I wouldn't say. I have a Faroese boat at home, and I renovated it, and it was quite interesting to get into all that, how to do it, because it's not just something you do. You have to get into it. It's interesting to see how they were built, because these Faroese boats, they were built like the Viking boats. It arises from that. And it's a hands-on job. And back in those days, they only used an axe, which is bloody amazing.
Yeah.
To think about.
Yeah.
And they did no rulers or anything. They just had this kind of rule of thumb. They used for this a big boat, the measurements would be whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't really have a ruler that they could go by. More like eyesight. So it's an amazing process.
It's very
incredible.
specific
And
handcraft.
even back in those days, they didn't even use. They used some nails, but they would use even wood as nails, which is quite awesome.
Yeah.
Really.
So it's a very specific handcraft that if it weren't continued here, probably would die out.
Yes.
I'm looking, yeah.
You were looking for a segue
That's
into
kind
something.
of Viking-ish. Something else Viking-ish could be, I don't know, Manowar. Oh, what reminds me of Manowar? It's the last Eurovision winner, which I was looking at, and I've been a fan of a lot of stuff in Eurovision, and I think it's well, the worst thing you can say about it is the biggest music event in the world ever.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, some would say, but some good music has come from there. I've been a great fan of ABBA, for example, for a long time. Still am.
That's about the.
They got their breakthrough in Eurovision. I don't think.
I didn't know that.
They did. I don't think a lot of big bands came from Eurovision after that. Honestly,
Wow.
I think ABBA would have broken through no matter where they went. But what struck me about the latest winner, the Italian song, is that they had a great image. I thought it was a bit cheesy, Manowar-ish, but it worked. It was like 80s, punk, metal. Hard to say, but they had a great live show. They looked good. They had a good stage presence, good image. They had no melody. There's no melody in the song, and that really bothers me. I mean,
that's something that's been lacking, because I've unfortunately, it's like this when you live here. Some of the elder people, they've followed those. It was not called Eurovision back in the days. It was called Grand Prix or something.
Yeah.
Like that. And they followed that
Melody
even
Grand Prix in
through
Danish.
when I was a child. So I've seen all of that. Shit. Through my life. And I must say, looking from the older days, it's a bit sad to see that back in the days it was actual songs. Today it's not so much. I should say the melodies are a bit gone, and the music as well is a bit gone. It's sad to see, I think, because you would appreciate if it was more about the whole music, but it's mainly about the main singer.
It's also about the show and the visual. It's more of a visual contest, it seems to me now, than a music contest.
I guess
which is sad.
I guess that's because it's easier to make something eye-catching or some eye-candy stuff with the visual, with the whole show, the lights, maybe some fire,
Exactly.
the clothes.
It's starting
hair.
to look like some X Factors kind of thing, which is sad to see.
Yeah, and I mean to write catchy, good songs. I mean, just like ABBA did back in the day. That's just not as easy as to just put up a
I think
real
actually
mind-blowing show.
I think you're right.
I think the best song so far in earlier times was the one from Denmark at that time. That was good song.
I think about a specific song or generally from
No,
Denmark?
it was
Always the Danish, huh?
Fly on a Wing of Love.
Fly on the wings of love. Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like that was a
Brødrene
good-
Olsen.
That was a song. That was a fine song you could sing to. So I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, in the least, this shows you that the visual side of the show is important. So if you take anything away from that, at least it's that. But let's try and keep writing decent music as well.
Yes.
As of course, I'd love to have a pyro show. It's just not so easy to travel with, and it's expensive to arrange.
Oh yeah.
But
We should talk to Rammstein. about
Generally, as you say, music is not something you should. It should not be a competition of music because music appeals to so many different souls. It should be something that you just listen to.
Yeah.
And,
It's hard to compete
But
in any kind of art.
I'm proud of that. It's actually a rock song that made it through. So that's
So-
that's
At
so-called-
least,
so-called.
it's a punk song.
and you're right about the show. It was a great looking show.
Yeah. We have some questions. There's
We have?
Peter Glanville.
Oh, Glanville, Mr. Glanville.
Well, he asks about my sound. If I were to use a Blackstar GT20R, for example, what would be my settings for the overdrive channel? I have to say I really don't know. This Blackstar, I don't even know what it is. I've used Kemper in the recent past, and honestly, Terry made the sounds. I'm not really that good with sounds. I used the sounds that Terry made, and later the sounds that Attila made, and now I'm working on sounds together with our audio engineer. And the thing we use now for playing live is Bias FX plugin, and we run the whole thing through a computer. I think there's the 5150
PV.
simulation in that. I think that's where the sound comes from. If you want to know something about sounds, don't ask me. I'm afraid I'm really not the guy for that. I'm much more into putting together the music and leave the sound to other people. Our guitar sound on album is really thanks to Jacob Hansen, maybe partly also Terry. I'm not sure how much he was talking to Jacob about that, but I know my limits and I stay out of the sound thing. How does Gunnar get that awesome bass sound?
Well, I have no idea. I'm a bit of that. I used to use SansAmp. I've used SansAmp ever since we started playing. When we start skipping the ringing amps, I use SansAmp. I use that always live. But now we use those FX, Bias FX. That works well too as well. I don't do anything special. I just simply dial it in till I think it sounds okay.
Yeah.
And I kind of take it up with our sound guy because he's actually the one who stands outside in the audience listening to all
And
the
knows
stuff.
what
So he
sounds
knows
good.
what sounds good and what does not sound good. So we
Yeah.
kind of dial it in together to pick the sound. But it's a flavor with a little bit of overdrive in it, and mostly clean bass. I usually on the bass guitar, some basses they have a preamp, and I actually skip the preamp. It goes through like a passive bass.
Mm-hmm. How about the sound on album?
Sound on album is all Jacob Hansen, and he used this dark glass for that album,
remember
and
this.
I've been meaning to get that. I might get that plugin actually.
Maybe I misremember, but I think he said he used the SansAmp plugin.
No, he used
Dark glass, no, I remember that as well.
He used
Okay, fair
dark glass on the
yeah.
last one, and it sounds fantastic.
It does.
And it's on the album. It's an Ibanez bass I actually use for that one.
Yeah.
I usually use that bass for. I use the bass for studios because it's clean. It has very clean tones. I don't prefer to use that bass live because it's a bit too clean for me live. It's a bit sterile, and I like basses with a sound where I actually have to work a little bit on making it sound good.
About the studio sound also, it's not as simple as just putting the Darkless plugin on. Jacob does something extra to it.
He knows exactly.
There's some know-how there.
Basically, Jacob said most of it is on full.
Basically.
Yeah. Most of it is jammed up on full power.
Yeah.
You would be amazed how much he turns everything up.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, Guns, I would love to hear you once on a concert using a fuzz pedal. There are some songs, for example, "Hail to the Hammer." That would be awesome. You know, just
It could be. I mean,
just switching on the fuzz.
yeah.
Some Lemmy sound.
No. I would. That's a bit too clunky, I think. But especially in these slower, kind of doomier songs, sometimes
we never really sat down and had time for going through stuff and went through. Maybe we should do something here. I totally agree. We should do that more.
There's
Look
some
into
potential.
it. So why not? Because the guitars anyway, they use all kinds of shit.
We have, now that we have the computer
Yeah.
sounds to it, it's much easier to set up stuff.
So there's
specific stuff
definitely
for each song.
possibilities of doing stuff.
Yeah.
I would love to hear that.
And even for last night, I built my own bass.
Oh yes, beautiful.
I tried it last night, and I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah, and
it sounded really good.
yeah,
So it
You
was
should
good to
be.
play on.
that's
Oh.
quite something.
Heavy as.
And there will be
rock.
pictures on Instagram and other places, whatever you guys use,
You're
of
just
this
the
bass.
next
So,
big Instagrammer is
Yes.
Guns Bass.
Guns Bass.
Go to
he's
Instagram,
next
look at
influencer.
look up Guns Bass. That's
Z.
Z's
Yeah.
Bass on Instagram. What are Tad's preferred drums on which to play?
Okay, that's.
Bongos.
Yeah, that too. But first, no, I really love Yamaha sound, especially the Maple Custom. I'm using a Yamaha Maple Custom from the 90s right now. Well, at home. Yesterday I used the newer series of the Recording Custom, the China-made, which many people don't prefer the China-made because they think it's worse quality. But I was totally convinced by their sound yesterday. I think Yamaha does not work well in heavy metal or in metal. It really comes down to the right drum head as well. So I'm using Remo Pinstripe usually because that gives them a kind of muffled sound, but not much. So you still hear the whole musicality of the drums. And
But it's probably also to do with tuning of the drums.
of course, yes.
What kind of music you make it fit to.
Yeah. I in my rehearsal space I sometimes spend at least an hour tuning, just
What?
trying them out. And
What kind of wood is, by your experience, the nicest?
well, maple is very, very reliable, especially when it comes to studio recordings. I think maple is the way to go if you want to avoid surprises. But, and I'm talking here against myself because I'm not a big Tama fan anymore, if you know the backstory of that. Whatever, but they have, I think they are the only ones who use Bubinga, or used to use, because now it's protected, the wood.
Yeah,
Speaking
and
about
it's
a different
very
kind of
expensive.
surprises that
Yeah.
you might experience buying from Tama.
Yeah, so Tama and Minor.
No, don't go there.
No. But they had a really, really good drum. The Babinga, like I said, they don't use that kind of wood anymore, but they just sounded awesome, really incredible. But of course, Yamaha has their own specialty as well. So the old recording customs or the Maple Custom Absolute is that's thinner drums than the Maple Customs I use. They have a more rocky sound, but it really comes down to the tuning as well and the right drum heads for each and every wood and each and every musical style. And cymbals I use, of course, Istanbul Agop. Beautiful piece of art. We've been to the as a band we've been to the manufacturer in Istanbul.
Quite an experience.
Beautiful.
Nice people.
Yeah, nice people.
Not to mention
As well. Yeah. So thanks for having me, Istanbul. And Yamaha, if you see this, wink, wink.
Nice to travel around the Mediterranean. We've been to Israel. We've never been further to the North African coast there. But
no, unfortunately not.
Speaking of the North African coast, there are some nice writers from there. A guy called Camille, I think, grew up in...
in
Algeria.
Algeria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Last Challenge.
Yes.
So Gunnar, how did you find the book?
The Plague.
I didn't find it.
I sent you the link.
I read maybe one page, and that was about it. I just left it there.
What do you think about it? The page?
You see, I didn't read it. So.
You didn't read one page, not one word?
I read the first page. That's what I say,
okay.
and I left it.
Yeah, I guess you don't get much from that. I got 20 pages in, and I liked it. I just didn't have time. There was rehearsal, preparations, travel. I liked it. I'm definitely going to read it. It's an absolutely disgusting book so far, but interesting, absolutely. And it's a famous piece of literature, and I think I can see why. But of course,
I'll probably read it.
A lot
later.
of the book is left. Did you read it?
Yes, I did. I actually listened to it as an audiobook because since I came up with the challenge, there was not really much time to sit down to actually read. But when I commute, for example, to my rehearsal space or in the the airplane.
What's the book about?
About the plague.
Don't spoil it for us.
Yeah. But the plague in a North African city breaking out, and the people not really knowing what's going on, and it's growing and growing until it's too late. And there were some, you know what? No, I'm not going to spoil it for you. There are some parallels to the beginning of this pandemic we're living in. Mm-hmm. You see, pandemic circumstances here all around. No, but seriously, read the book, especially now. It's very, very symbolic, and it's a very great story. And by the way, Camus, he is really incredible. I mean, The Stranger was the first thing I read from him. Worth it. So
I read that. I liked it a lot. It had a very strong point, I thought. I mean, and hammered home with a vengeance. I mean, not like making a subtle point.
Nope.
Just turning it all up to 11.
Yeah.
and I really like that. And I hope it does the same in this book.
It does.
Beautiful. I look forward to reading it.
I think I have bugs up my ass.
There's not much corona in the Faroes at the moment, and you can walk around everywhere without a mask. There hasn't been a mask mandate, I think, for anything in the Faroes.
No, it was in the beginning, but it was very shortly lived.
Yeah,
because nobody has corona here, so
it just feels like a crime walking into shops without a mask now.
Yeah. You feel always
like half naked.
Guilty.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's great. It's great freedom here, and only a few 10 people with Corona at the moment.
To be honest, being up here, you haven't felt anything much about Corona at all, because people have been very good at just how to organize themselves differently because of the situation.
Yeah.
So they just continue doing something else.
Yeah.
Simply like we did. I'm working as a carpenter and I have enough to do. So, you know.
I mean, the first 2 days after my arrival, at least, were a little bit gloomy because we thought that this whole show is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because there was a
small outbreak.
Small outbreak. Yeah. When I arrived, there was one, I think, or two.
Yeah, something like that.
Sick, and then the next day it was 17 or 16, and then 27. And we really, I mean,
I think it's 40 now or something.
Yeah,
but
so
they're not sick. They're just infected. There's 0 people in hospital
and quarantined.
Yeah,
very many,
like
500. Yeah.
And you got the flu shot, and me too.
I got both.
I got just the first one.
Yeah, I haven't been vaccinated at all. I think I'll get vaccinated soon in Czechia.
And
very good.
Many have been asking for this. They said, "Do you really dare to take this flu shot, or whatever you call it, vaccination?"
COVID shot.
And my answer to that is really, why not? What's going to happen? Do you think they're going to kill off a million people?
When we were children, we were vaccinated against all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And
so I think the good.
And we turn out fine.
Right. Broke musicians on some rocks in the Atlantic Ocean. Isn't that the dream?
Outland.
At least it's not that bad.
No, it could be worse.
All
For
right.
example, you could die from COVID.
Yes, other people could die because you infected someone. Anyway, please like this video because it's likable.
We're likable.
Yes, Gunnar's likable.
Country is likable.
The background is likable.
Am I likable?
It deserves a like. Come on. Press the like button. Thank you. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/herjohansson. Thaddeus has his own YouTube channel. I'll put a direct link below this video. You can find us on Instagram, Gunnar, you want to read this, where we are Týr_official. And you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
What did you want me to read?
Where we are Týrband.
Oh. Yeah, well, you can find us on Instagram.
No.
Where?
We've got 2 bands in town now.
Oh, just you read it. There's a teaser.
Yeah, sorry. There's a bandsintown.com/Týr where you can track us. Do not miss us when we finally go on tour again, which looks like it might happen later this year, maybe next year.
Maybe.
Stay tuned on bandsintown.com/Týr, sorry. You can listen to your favorite music of Týr on streaming platforms or on YouTube. It's all right here on our channel. Please go to Týr.fo, buy a CD, an LP and some merch, and sign up for our amazing newsletter. I haven't sent a newsletter in months. I gotta do something about this.
Amazing.
Every now and then we have important information that
What does that newsletter say? We're back.
For example, when there's new merch, when there's a tour, which there hasn't been in a long time, when there's a new guitar player, I think I will send a newsletter out with his name.
When there's a single
could come out. Yeah. I would notify people by the newsletter. So if you want to be absolutely certain you get the latest from Týr, sign up for the newsletter at Týr.fo. You can support us at patreon.com/Týrband. You can put a question directly to us and we will answer it directly to you on the Týrcast. We put out these episodes on the 7th and the 22nd of each month at 1700 hours Central European time.
We do.
Yeah, Gunnar, you do. Thank you, and we hope to have you back here on the 7th of June at 5 p.m. Central European time.
You want all of them to come here?
That would be lovely.
No. Just tune in to our YouTube channel. You don't have to come here.
There you go.
but you might. It's worth
But-
it.
Yeah, you can come here.
Bye.
Sicko.
Race.
War.
Eating.